Good evening. Today is Wednesday, May 6, 2026, and we are here for the Hendrick Hudson Board of Education meeting. Can we all please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to make a motion to open the meeting.
Motion, open meeting.
All in favor?
Can we get Erica on the screen?
I said aye.
Okay, thank you. There she is.
Just so that the public is aware, we did not have an executive session this evening. I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda as follows. I would like to table the following items. The superintendent's update, the cabinet update, committee reports, board comments, new business, and policy reading.
Second.
All in favor? I would like to make an amendment to put the agenda in the following order. Public hearing on the 2026-2027 budget, audience comments on non-agenda items, consent agenda, items removed from the consent agenda, audience comments on agenda items, our board comments, old business, and our adjournment.
We're gonna do the recognition before, after consent agenda.
We will be putting the tenure recognition after the consent agenda.
Motion to amend the order of the board meeting.
Second. All in favor? Thank you. So then the first thing on our agenda tonight would be the public hearing on the 2026-2027 budget.
Thank you, President Silverman. And for those here for the tenure recognition, we will do this as quickly as legally possible to make sure we get on to the enjoyable part of the evening. I do find budgets enjoyable as well too, though. Greg, would you mind? Thank you. So tonight is our annual public hearing on the adopted Board of Education budget. Jill Figuerella and I put together a brief overview of where we have been, where we are now, and the next steps for the budget. So we'll go over some major components from the legal perspective of the budget hearing. This board has been highly transparent, having meetings dating back to December for our development sessions, conducting my favorite day of the year, the March annual line by line, the Saturday day of fun, as I know you all call it, and where we went in detail to every line of the budget. This evening will be a higher level overview of that in order to keep people here. For the remainder of the meeting. So we always start and ground everything we do in our district in our shared mission. And then the next slide reminds us of our approach that we have this year when we interact with our community and when we interact with our students. A theory of action, a sense of urgency to ensure that our students and our community have the best teaching and learning environments possible. If we go to the next slide, this is a reminder of what the adopted budget offers. The information you see here is the parameters that the board has been discussing and that have evolved since our first discussion in December, where we talked about what's driving the budget, what are the expenses that may be providing the situation that we have to develop the budget within. But you can see here that the adopted budget provides for a flexible and agile instructional program, allows us to engage in the three negotiations that we had this year and are currently engaged in with our valued labor partners. We are continuing to always look at our staffing to make sure that it is the appropriate skill set and size set to provide the highest level of teaching and learning in alignment with our shared mission to best serve our students while balancing scarce resources. We also want to make sure that we are continuing looking forward in the approach to keep our facilities in the state of welcoming that best teaching and learning environment, and then also ensuring that we posture ourselves for the mandated transition to the electronic fleet that, for our school buses and all school-related vehicles that we have to. On the next slide, you will see the mandatory three-part budget, which breaks our budget of all of our expenses into three categories: program, administrative, and capital. And you can see, not only visually, but also by the numbers, that the majority, as it should, the majority of our expenditures, well over the majority of our expenditures, go towards supporting our teaching and learning environment in the instructional program. You may notice that our capital costs this year are a little bit higher than last year, and that relates specifically, we are engaged in a capital project. So all those expenses are captured and identified in that component. The next slide just goes over some brief budget facts. We do have a budget-to-budget change based upon our expenses, which are primarily driven by the contractual items and other drivers such as healthcare costs. So we do see a 6.6% increase in our budget from last year. To address that, we are using an appropriate mixture of fund balance. We are taking approximately $7.5 million from our fund balance. Part of that has been established by legislation that allows Hendrick Hudson, due to the shutdown of Indian Point, to have set aside money to soften that impact on our taxpayers, and we are applying $7.5 million of that to help bring down the levy. And we are also waiting on other revenue sources. If you have been paying attention to state budget news, the state is starting to use the word emergency, I think, loosely. This is, I believe, the fourth emergency expenditure bill that has been passed that allows them to keep having the budget discussions. I think we're now pushed off until next week before the state will come to a determination on the budget. And the importance of that is our state aid will be included in that final budget. So while those negotiations continue, we're asked to build a budget without knowing a major component of our revenue sources. So we've had to do our best to do that. Our budget newsletter will be mailed approximately around this time, May 8th, and that will include in detail a recap of the budget and the items that brought us to that as well. So if you've taken a mental or physical vacation at this time from my droning on, you can read that in detail at your leisure when it is mailed out. If we take a high-level look at our budget expenditures, these are the expenditures by category that make up our budget, as well as a two-year look back and a percentage change from last year's budget to this year's budget. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see the revenues. Right on top, you can see state aid. That is an estimate, as I said. We have the task of building a budget without knowing about 20% of our budget from a revenue side. So if you're thinking about a household or a business that operates without knowing 20% of its budget, that's the situation we're in here right now. So and these are the revenues that will help to balance the budget, because school districts are required by statute to have a balanced budget where the expenditures must match the revenues. Greg, if you can click on that hyperlink, we do provide projections, given our financial situation, to properly plan for how we will utilize district resources to the best of our knowledge. I will say that, as always with these projections, these are estimates rather than absolute certainties. School finance, every aspect that you see on here, whether it's the assumption of what our contractual payments will be, our debt payments will be, if there is a change to any of those inputs, that will have a change to the entire projection as general. So please view these projections for what they are. They're not absolutes. They're our best thinking at the time that we generated these projections to help us plan. And so I'll pause for a moment for the board if they have any questions on those projections. Okay. On the next slide is a review of the I'm sorry, if we go back to the slide deck. Sorry, Greg, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. If we go back to our slide deck, there are 3 propositions that we are asking the community to make an informed vote on. The first is our budget. The second would be a bond or a proposition authorizing us to enter into a loan payment at some point in time during the next year to provide for that continued transition to the electronic vehicle fleet in the amount of $775,000. So the bond is not authorizing us to spend that money, it's authorizing us to enter into an agreement to borrow that money. And then finally, we do partner with the Hendrick Hudson Free Library to include their budget vote on our budget proposition, on our propositions as well. And then there will also be 2 candidates for the Board of Education, each to be elected to a 3-year term that the community has the opportunity to vote on as well. And at this time, part of the budget hearing is to allow time for public comment on the budget in general, not only the information that I've shared this evening, but if you've been following the budget throughout the entire process, or even if you haven't been following the budget throughout the entire development process, now is an opportunity for anybody who wishes to speak to come forward to ask questions, or to provide comment on the budget. Normally, the Board of Education does not answer questions from the table. We welcome public comment, and any question that is asked will be followed up. I know we have some teachers in the room. This is what's called appropriate wait time. That joke only kills with educators. Okay. So that concludes the public comment portion of the budget hearing. Just a reminder about the upcoming budget vote and what remains in terms of the budget process. These are a few reminders that will go into a little bit more detail. If you are interested in voting information, you can access it from our website. If you go to our website and click on Board of Education, you can click on the Budget tab, and under the Budget tab, there is a link for voting instructions, or if you access this presentation on Diligent Community, our new board docs or board governance program, you can click on that red hyperlink and that will take you directly to the voting information. We do have a few remaining upcoming budget forums. We had a budget forum this evening, and we do have 2 remaining, one on May 18th from 5 to 6 p.m. at Veterans Review Park. I don't consider this inclement weather, so we will try to have it outside as long as we can. Maybe we would go virtual if it was weather like this, but we'll try to stay outside just for a different environment. But I'll be down there at Veterans Park. Come find me. I'll be the guy walking around looking like he has no friends. That's me. And if you have questions about the budget or comments about the budget, please feel free to come up and talk to me for a little bit. We will also conduct our final virtual community budget forum on May 13th from 6 to 7 p.m. The video link is in here. It's also available on our website, and it's been emailed out in our district communications. Just a reminder of where we have been in terms of our budget development calendar. You can see that we are conducting the public hearing, May 6th, true to our word. We anticipate the soundings or budget newsletter to be mailed out in a few days. The budget vote is on May 19th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Frank G. Lindsay Elementary School. And if we do need a revote on the budget, that must occur by statute on June 16th. In terms of if the board has to adopt a contingent budget, so that can come in a number of ways. If after the first vote, the community does not pass with a supermajority because our proposed tax levy is over the tax cap limit that is allotted to the school district this year, the board has 3 choices. It could put up the same budget for a revote, it could adopt a contingent budget immediately, or it could put up a revised budget on that alternate June date. If we find ourselves in a contingent position, a budget condition, for any reason, these are some reminders about what that contingent budget means. The main one is that our levy is not allowed to increase over last year, which means our expenses don't necessarily get reduced because we still have those expenses, but the amount we are allowed to ask by our taxpayers does not go higher than last year's amount. We must adhere to some stringent rules with this. One of those rules would be that the use of school facilities by outside agencies is not used, and all non-contingent items from the budget must be removed when that contingent budget is adopted. And happier news, Tuesday, May 19th is not just an opportunity for our community to come out and make an informed vote on the propositions that we shared earlier. It is also an opportunity to come together as a community. So we have a number of activities planned. This is our centennial year of our high school, so we wanted to make sure that at every opportunity we had a chance to celebrate that once in a lifetime milestone. Well, maybe I want to say once in a lifetime, but it certainly is rare in a lifetime to celebrate a centennial. If you come by and vote between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m., we will have information about our Centennial Gala. There will be a preview of the alumni video. This was a video put together by our student videographers at the high school, which captured alumni voices to hear their perspectives, to hear what they thought about the centennial, their time while in Hendrick Hudson. So it's a wonderful opportunity. So that will be displayed in the budget voting area. Obviously, we don't want to distract people, so there will not be any sound. It's more of an entree into the full video, which will be shared at other centennial events and later on that evening in a classroom at Frank G. Lindsay. We'll also have selected items from the time capsule. They're pretty fragile. They're over 100 years old, and paper doesn't necessarily like being old. So we are going to select a few of those items that will survive the transportation to Frank G. Lindsay from the high school to make sure that we can do what we need to do next with those items and keep them preserved. We'll also have student art displayed throughout the time period during the day. After 6 p.m., we have expanded the opportunity for our community to come together. We will have a bike safety event with the Westchester County Police Department. So if you have youngsters in your house that enjoy, like mine, riding bikes, and they all ride them safely, if they just need a reminder, please bring your bike by. Our partners at Westchester County will come by, do things such as inspect the bike, provide bike safety tips, and thank you to Dr. Kramer for leading the charge on that. And all of our principals and Mr. Morkey here have been great partners in planning these events. So I want to thank them in public for all the hard work they've been doing above and beyond their normal daily activities to support these budget day events. We'll also have around the 6 o'clock hour, we'll have our high school choir performance. They will come down, string quartet. I need to change it, so I'll do that right now. Our high school student string performance. Wonderful way to update it. We'll have arts and crafts for the youngsters. There'll be a book exchange. You'll continue to see student art being displayed. There'll also be an opportunity for students to participate in the democratic process. They will get a chance, if they are a high school student, they'll be able to vote on their student ex officio member to the Board of Education, one junior and one senior, to serve out 1-year and 2-year terms respectively. And then also our K-8 students will have the opportunity to vote on a meal choice that they would like to see come out in the next couple of weeks within our lunch spaces. And again, you'll see our centennial is still being celebrated at that time, where we'll have the full video being showed, and anybody who wants to see maybe themselves in the video or a friend or family member in the video, you'll be able to see that opportunity. And thank you to our staff who have led that videography process. Some of them are here this evening, and our students who are helping to capture those voices as well. And again, that is Tuesday, May 19th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Frank G. Lindsay. And that concludes the budget hearing presentation.
Thank you. At this time, we are moving on to our audience comments on non-agenda items. Carmen, do we have anyone signed up to speak tonight?
We do not.
Okay, so we are looking at our consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they would like to pull from the consent agenda? Can I ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated?
To approve the consent agenda as stated. Second.
All in favor? And then we do
Yes.
have, thank you. We do have 3 items that were removed from the consent agenda before for our donations.
Greg, can you pull up those donations for me, please?
Sorry. But we didn't print them out.
I forgot to.
It's okay. I've been practicing. The first one is a donation totaling $200 for the Barbara Katzenstein Scholarship Fund. So the Office of Special Education has received donations in the amount of $200 to be utilized to pay for partial summer camp funding for students with significant handicapping conditions. Can I ask for a motion to approve the donation for $200?
Motion to approve the donation for $200. Second.
All in favor?
Erica, can you say? Can we hear Erica?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. The second one is a donation of $250 for the Diane Tangent Scholarship Fund. The Hendrick Hudson High School is the recipient for the following donation for specific graduation awards, and it is the Diane Tangent Scholarship Fund for $250. Can I ask for a motion to approve this donation of $250?
Motion to approve donation $250.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then the last one is a donation to the high school graduating class totaling $3,000 for the graduating class of 2026. The Hendrick Hudson High School is the recipient of the following donation for specific graduation awards. The Richard Albert Scholarship for $3,000. May I ask for a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve donation for $3,000.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you to all of our donors.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it back over to you as we are going to move on to our tenure recognition.
I have a feeling this is the part of the meeting that everybody came for after the budget hearing. So, little did you know, unless you're a fan of Robert's Rules of Order or a connoisseur, that the board took action on the tenure recommendations this evening. So anybody who is up to be awarded tenure has now officially been awarded tenure according to their tenure days. Well, I'm not going to let you leave yet. So, this is a very special evening as we celebrate the awarding of tenure to over 15 of our wonderful staff members. The awarding of tenure is a significant professional milestone in one's career, and I want to extend a warm welcome to our tenure recipients and a very special warm welcome to their families and loved ones who have joined us this evening to share in this achievement. And I know, knowing the character and the caliber of the individuals who have been awarded tenure this evening, they have all thanked you as family and friends appropriately, and we'll do the dishes tonight for you, so you know, it's all the hard work that you've done, that they've allowed you to do. Now, I'd like to take a moment to speak directly to our colleagues receiving tenure this evening. I offer each of you my deepest congratulations. The awarding of tenure is an act of profound trust. It represents our confidence in you, not only as a highly skilled educator, but also as a caring professional adult. This trust is not simply an agreement between you and the school district. Tonight, you are being fully welcomed and embraced by the entire Hendrick Hudson community as fixtures in the lives of their children. With this significant achievement comes great responsibility, and as we know that to whom much is given, much is expected. So these are my expectations for you moving forward. And it's very clear and grounded in that mission statement that we just reviewed a few minutes ago. You must continue to hone your craft and pursue excellence in your instructional practices. You must continue to consistently place students at the absolute center of everything you do, ensuring they're engaged, passionate learners who achieve their maximum potential and contribute to our society. And finally, I expect you to continue being positive, collaborative, and valued members of this wonderful educational community. And I have no doubt that you will exceed these expectations, and I look forward to continuing to watch you grow as a professional and as a member of this community. You have my well done congratulations on this evening. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Stephen Garcia, who will officially oversee the remainder of our tenure ceremony.
Family and friends and most earlier teachers and teaching assistants receiving tenure tonight. Congratulations, you did receive tenure already. But what we're going to do now is that we're going to introduce each one of you to come up to the podium, and also your immediate supervisor to come speak on your behalf. Okay, so that's the process. We're good? Understand? All right, and as Mr. Trumley said, he did lay out some very strong demands, right? Of course, we want you to be happy about tonight's acknowledgement of tenure, but it's really important to understand that this is just the beginning, it's not an end. This is the beginning, really, still of your journey. Some of you received tenure in other districts, so this may be your second time, maybe third time. I think I received tenure, I think I counted 7, which means that I'm either really good or I get really bored easily. So, understand my belief in tenure is that it's just that acknowledgement that the community, the students, parents, the administration, the rest of your colleagues believe that you are the best and you have the right to serve our kids for the rest of your career. And that is really just a milestone I just want to congratulate you. So without any further ado, I'll begin with our first teaching assistant. We have, let's call up Andrea Miranda, and Miss McGill will speak on her. Yeah, oh, wait, am I too far? Oh, I messed up, obviously. I'm getting old, I just turned 56, so I'm. Yeah, you're looking right, it's moisturizer. Anyway, so, let's call on Daniela Brianti. Dr. Kramer,
Good evening, everyone. So Daniela has been with us for a few years now. She started off as the teaching assistant in our kindergarten program, and now she is the teaching assistant in our STEAM program with Mrs. Holtzman. She is always willing to help out in any capacity. And Daniela, you'll see Daniela every morning during arrival, greeting students as they get off the bus and get out of their cars. She always has a smile on her face. Students are always going over and giving her hugs. I think she knows every single one of them by name, which is fabulous. And she's just the perfect person to be out there in the morning smiling and greeting our students. So we really appreciate that. She's a true asset to the STEAM program, often, co-teaching with Mrs. Holtzman, and providing support to students as needed. So we're really thrilled that you're receiving tenure. Congratulations.
thank you. Next, I'd like to call up Abby Chargo, and Mr. Cohen will introduce you.
All right, Abby Chargo. So what I'd like to do is share a little bit from either the students and her staff, along with some of my words. Abby's currently working in kindergarten with Ms. Stack, but often gets to work with our ABC crew, helping out in the morning. But again, as you see the smile now, this is what you always see with Abby, very positive, warm, nurturing with the children, and cares for the whole child. Great energy, whether it's reading, stories, or working with small groups. And a couple of the students said she helps us with our work if it's a little hard. And I love doing art with Miss Chargo during center, so congratulations. Thank you. Let's hear it for Miss Chargo.
Thank you. Okay, I can serenade it one now, right? Okay, let's put it back. Let's move on. Our next recipient, Stephanie Gately, will introduce
It is a pleasure to recognize Stephanie Gately as she receives tenure this evening. As a proud Hendrick Hudson alumna, Stephanie has served students in many capacities within the Hendrick Hudson School District. She has found many ways to remain at the heart of our community and serve our students. She has consistently demonstrated dedication, compassion, and strong commitment to supporting students and families, and we are so happy to congratulate her on receiving tenure. She works hard every single day to support both the emotional well-being and academic success of her students. She creates a caring and supportive classroom environment where students feel encouraged as they work through challenges and grow as learners. Stephanie, thank you for your dedication and care that you bring to our students at Frank G. Lindsay and to all the students in the district.
Great, okay. Next on the list, we have Nicholas Gianlucci, who will be recognized by Mr.
Good evening. Thank you for coming together and recognizing the really dedicated hard work that Mr. G presents to us in our building every day working with our students. He is our school psychologist, but he is a trusted adult to so many in our building. Some students and families even, who might be reluctant to use therapy, have always said to me, maybe I'm not into therapy, but I'll talk to Mr. G. He is there to connect with our kids. He is a role model, he's a trusted adult, as I said. He's someone that I also go to consult with when I'm working with students. He knows his students very well, he's a great read of them, and knows ways in which we can support them together as a team. He works collaboratively with our other clinicians in our building. He is also a wrestling coach, and he sees our students in ways that we don't always see them in the hallways or in classes or in a therapy session, and he brings that knowledge and that understanding of how our students interact socially in some would say some awkward adolescent years, and he uses that to really connect with students. And I just love having him on our team. So I really want a really big round of applause for Mr. G.
Next, I'd like to welcome Ms. Michelle Nadeau, who will be introduced by Dr. Terrell.
It's truly an honor to recognize Ms. Nadeau on receiving tenure. I'm incredibly proud of you and grateful to have the opportunity to work with you here, as well as in a previous school in our past. It is great to see you continue to grow and to make such a strong impact. When I enter Michelle's classroom, I see students actively engaged in meaningful learning. When she speaks to her passion and commitment, I also want to recognize her contributions beyond the classroom, especially her outstanding work during Hispanic Heritage Month and her collaboration with her colleagues across the building. Michelle, thank you for being such a strong team player, whether supporting the Master Schedule Committee or engaging in important curriculum decisions. Congratulations on this well-deserved achievement. I look forward to seeing great things from you.
Okay, now we'll go back to Ms. Andrea Miranda. Ms. McGill.
Once again, I'm honored to recognize Andrea Miranda as she receives tenure this evening. Andrea is incredibly dedicated. I consult with her all the time about student needs. She is a partner in their emotional well-being. She is so good at partnering with families, helping students to feel heard. We had a very interesting first meeting. We got right into it the first day that I started. Her kindness, her compassion is well recognized in the building. Others will seek her out if they need help with any situations because they know that she is trusted, she has integrity, and she keeps everything in confidence. So congratulations for a well-deserved award of tenure.
Okay, when you keep Ms. McGill there, that's fine, sir, before we're gonna work that stuff. And let's call up Ms. Stephanie Murphy.
Children are welcome.
Once again, I get to recognize a newly tenured faculty member, Stephanie Murphy. She is one of our E&L teachers, and since the moment I stepped into the building, she has been working to make their experience in school better. She has partnered on different techniques for scheduling L's. She happily seeks out resources to help them, and also any professional development opportunities that come her way. She truly cares about her students. She wants them to have a sense of belonging. She collaborates with colleagues to make sure that not only they feel included, but their parents feel included. Very happy to be working with you, and congratulations upon your tenure.
Next, I'd like to welcome Heather Ogden to the podium, and And Mrs. Cohen will come back.
Sorry.
Well, this is a perfect example of how much Heather cares about what she does each day. She really works hard and gives it her all. Her heart is into this job. And some compliments about Heather are she takes initiative, shows genuine compassion, natural ability for the work we do in our ABC program. She's also doing the ESY summer program as well and has done that. She helps the students learn to be self-advocates, and you help them make strides to being more independent in the classroom and our school community. So thank you very much for your dedication.
Thank you. Let's welcome Karen Orpisi to the podium.
It is an honor to recognize Ms. Orfisi on receiving tenure. Karen, congratulations on this well-deserved achievement. You're more than just a teacher, you're someone who shows up each day with a deep commitment to your students and a genuine passion for what you do. I'm proud to celebrate this moment with you. Karen, the care, the love, and patience you have for your students each and every day does not go unnoticed. You create a successful environment where students feel supported, valued, and safe while also equipping them. Thank you for all you do. The impact you make on the lives of your students is lasting, and they will always remember you. Congratulations again on earning tenure. This is only the beginning of continued success.
Next, I'd like to welcome Megan Forsythe.
Megan, we're currently working with our second grade classes and anything else that comes up on a daily basis. So thank you for your flexibility. Your teachers that you work with describe you as a huge asset to the classroom and learning environment. You've learned to read each other's minds, is what they said. You have a gentle approach with the students to help them feel safe. And everyone feels they can trust you, whether it's schoolwork, supporting their individual needs, listening and supporting them through tough moments, conflict resolution. You're there for it all. You do a great job providing one-to-one support with students' individual needs. You help them build their confidence, and we're all lucky to have you and appreciate you very much. And now a couple quotes from some students. Miss Warstick is the best and always helps me when I need help and is super nice. You have the best reading stations and math centers, and you make learning so fun. And finally, when we go through some of the questions in our homework, you tell us how great we did, and if they need help, you're always there for them. You are the best. So congratulations.
Next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Chris Ott to the podium.
Good evening again. I'm very excited to congratulate Chris Ott. He is a social studies teacher. I was a social studies teacher, so I have a special fondness for what you do in the classroom by taking history and making it come alive for our students. When I go into your classroom, I see students engaged. They're working with one another. They're talking to each other. They're sitting on the ground and getting up and down and physically showing you what they know. Chris Ott is also an academy teacher. He works across the academy, interdisciplinary with teachers in other content areas to really think about making learning connected across disciplines, including working with students with social supports, emotional supports. He's a trusted adult for many of our students who feel the academy family atmosphere, and you make that true for our students. Chris Ott is also our class advisor this year and is working really hard to put amazing events for our students across the school building. And I just want to applaud your efforts. I know that we've been working as a school to create opportunities of learning across disciplines, and he has taken that to heart and made projects and learning from social studies into the math and into the science courses. And I thank you so much for taking these learnings and continuing to be a learner in our Hen Hunt community as well as a tenured teacher. So thank you.
Next, we'd like to welcome Maurice Perez to the podium.
Good evening. Maurice is a teacher assistant in our ABC Sailor program. This program meets the needs, the individual needs, the very specialized needs of our learners. And he is a special person to really connect with making sure that the learning is happening by seeing all the things that these students bring into our learning environment. Each one of our learners in that environment has these specialized needs, but also brings with them a smile, connection, and you bring that smile right back to them. You are an amazing team player with all of the other educators in that space. You come together to do whatever it takes in whatever moment that our students need. And I want to thank you so much for that. And I also adore your smile that I see all the time, and it brightens everyone's day. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Okay. Our next recipient, I'd like to welcome Cameron Sherman.
Hello again. So Cameron is one half of our mother-daughter Sherman duo at VV. She has been a TA in our kindergarten program. She's also a certified teacher, so she's currently covering a leave replacement in first grade for us and doing a fabulous job with that as well. When Mrs. Strang returns next week, Cam is going to return to her TA duties, but as our wing TA, which means she'll be working with all the classroom teachers at the grade levels K2 to plan small group and individualized support for students as needed, whether it's to help some students who might need some extra practice with a concept or working with a group of students to challenge them to take their thinking to the next level. So we're looking forward to Cameron taking on that new responsibility, continuing as a TA. She's kind, she's nurturing, she works hard to ensure every child's needs are met, and she is a team player. Congratulations, Cameron.
Kimberly Sherman.
Okay, part two, Mom Sherman. So Kimberly is also in our kindergarten program as a TA. She's working in Mrs. Dietrich's class, and she's always in there working with small groups, supporting students one-on-one with extra support, providing guidance or supervision as needed. She's also willing to help out in any capacity throughout the building. She has a really great rapport with all the staff and students, and we're thrilled to have her as part of our BV community. Congratulations.
Finally, I'd like to welcome Ms. Jalen Smith.
It is a pleasure to recognize Ms. Smith on receiving your tenure. Jalen, I want to say how proud I am of you. From the very beginning, it's been clear that you bring not only talent, but also tremendous potential and natural leadership to our school community. You consistently go above and beyond, and your impact is felt by so many. Jalen, your involvement across the school is truly impressive. You take initiative to write grants, organize events, bring people together, whether it's coordinating school-wide activities like staff or a student volleyball game. taking the lead on field day and contributing to the Teen Challenge Day. Your willingness to step up and make things happen speaks volumes to the person you are. Thank you for everything that you do beyond the classroom, from coaching to simply showing up each and every day with energy and purpose. You are a vital part of the school community, and I am so proud of you. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank, first of all, round of applause for all the parents, the family members who are here tonight. Special thanks, obviously, Mr. Chauncey, the Board of Education, and all the administrators who joined us. Thank you. I want to also thank my assistant, Ms. Randy Dare, who put the program together. And she's the one also for the corsages and the lovely food. Thank you to Fran. And as before you leave, we're going to have a picture taken, correct?
Yes.
Just one final word. So again, congratulations to everyone. I really do hope that you take tenure as something you're very proud of, but also, as I said at the beginning of the evening, a place that really you're starting again, right? The spirit that you had when you first started teaching over the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever the tenure period or probationary period was, keep that spark alive, right? The kids deserve that, and we want you to continue to grow and learn. So thank you so much.
Point of privilege. Before we move on, I'm going to ask, before I ask President Silverman to have the board consider a motion to recess so we can take that photo, I do want to, again, extend my congratulations to all tenure recipients, but also encourage you to thank, and I want to thank our administrators who are gathered here this evening, who have supported you in this journey and who have spoke so highly of you, not only this evening, but also in their recommendations. So please be sure to thank your administrators, and thank you to Dr. Garcia and your staff for facilitating this memorable evening. So I will turn over to the Board of Education President, Ms. Silverman, to consider a motion to recess so we can take that photo.
I'd like to ask for a motion to have a 5-minute recess to take our photo and congratulate our tenure recipients.
Motion to have a 5-minute recess. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The board will reconvene in approximately 5 minutes. May I ask for a motion to reopen our meeting from our recess?
Motion to reopen our meeting. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So now we have time for audience comments on agenda items. Carmen, do we have anybody signed up for that?
We do not.
Our audience is shrunk. Recess.
And so now we are going to go to our board comments, old business, and we have a presentation from Mr. Mike Tremblay.
Thank you. This is old business. We are revisiting the topic of our open campus policy. The board has a policy on an open campus, which essentially creates a closed campus that was established, I believe, in 2004. The board earlier in the year asked the administration to do some fact finding on what other school districts have done. Dr. Scoggins led the charge on that. There's been continued discussions at the policy committee level, and we also wanted to make sure that we had community input. And one of those groups, we will review their perspective on that, and that is the viewpoint of the student. So a few weeks ago, we started an engagement with the students about their perspectives on a possible off-campus policy for primarily lunchtime that they may have or free periods that they may have. And we asked them for their input on that. Things that they would like us to consider, things that they would like to see if this was an open campus. And I have to commend our students for some very thoughtful, it was the largest exchange participation that we have had in the 2.5 years that we've been conducting thought exchanges. And I will say this, it is probably the most thoughtful exchange that we have had as well too. And I believe it is the only exchange where the tool itself did not flag for inappropriate comments. So commend our students on the time they took to respond, the thoughtfulness they took in their responses, and we're going to do a brief overview of that tonight. So if you go to the next slide, when we talk about participation, we see that participation across the grade levels was robust, as I just said. The highest engagement came from our 11th and 10th grade cohorts, representing 33% and 31% of respondents respectively. Seniors and freshmen also contributed significantly. And when asked about the frequency of participation, there was zero interest in the never category. So we asked a few introductory questions to help delineate the survey data, and then a thought exchange question on what they might like to see if the campus was opened up. So that data suggests that the implementation of such a policy would result in a significant daily transition of students during lunch periods, necessitating operational procedures if a policy was adopted to facilitate that entry and exit. If we go to the next slide. And the next slide. Oh, do we stop right there? Thank you. Excellent. Greg and I didn't practice this, but we're still on key. There are a few themes that emerged when you look at the responses and associated onboard docs. I'm not going to bore you by reading all 335 responses. We did post the anonymous anonymized responses by students. Thought Exchange does provide input in an anonymous manner, so we did provide the feedback that the students had. We took the thoughts right from the tool and posted them as an ancillary document to this presentation on Diligent Community. So when we look at some of the thematic categories from the Thought Exchange, the primary driver for why students would like to see an open campus was a desire for a variety of more food options and a physical break from the school environment. The high volume of students wishing to participate in this possibility of an open campus, they said, indicates that we have to be able to handle large scale movement of our students. Additionally, other themes that came about were students had a lot of input into what we should consider in terms of eligibility requirements. An essential theme was the concept of earned autonomy. In other words, there should be a reason why students are allowed to participate in any possible open campus consideration. Students suggested frequently that it should be tied to maintaining specific grade point average, behavior characteristics, and so the majority of respondents from our student body sees the open campus policy as a potential incentive for academic and behavioral excellence. Another theme that emerged was safety and accountability needs to be an option here, or it needs to be a consideration. There's a clear understanding that the school must remain aware of student locations for safety purposes. And remember, this is driven from the students' responses, so they had the insight to share these in their responses as well. And students also expressed a willingness to comply with any measures that are needed to implement a possible open campus policy. They also shared, our students shared a holistic perspective to the benefits that could be perceived. So the practicalities of food, in addition to that, students identified emotional and developmental benefits. This included the opportunity to practice real-world independence, the ability to decompress in a different environment, and the development of time management skills that would be required if students were able to qualify and participate in a possible open campus policy. So other things that emerged from this was things that we as administrators would need to consider if we were to implement an open campus policy. We asked our administrators to review this, and when they did, a few things emerged. If an open campus was to be allowed, there would need to be, in particular, we all understand that we still are responsible for students. We'd have to coordinate how that looks on entry and exit. We'd have to coordinate criteria if we use eligibility-based. That would have to be tracked as well, as far as who would be eligible and when they're not eligible and who manages that. But a key theme came about from administrative input that there needs to be a safe zone within the community if the school becomes unsafe while students are off campus. So this is something that we will begin to consider or begin to discuss as an administrative team. If the board continues to consider an open campus, we want to make sure that we get ahead of that. Because if we have a lockdown or an event strikes the high school that we need to have students not come to the high school, we need to identify a safe place in the community and work with partners in the community to ensure that there is oversight and supervision of students there. So that was one key theme that came out from our administrative input. So this is great input to help us as administrators provide not only feedback to the board, but also to make sure we begin early planning to implement a possible open campus format if the policy is adopted by the board or if it's changed by the board as well. So that is my presentation on the open campus student perspective. I would urge our community, so teachers, parents, and community adults. I will be sending out via Parent Square this Friday, an exchange centered particularly on your perspective, so that will be coming out this Friday. And we will market that in a number of different forms to make sure that you have the ability to participate. So I turn it back over to you, President.
Thank you. So the board had the privilege of meeting with some potential ex officio members, and we actually talked about student voice and how they can be heard, and, you know, this policy that they want to possibly make some amendments to came up. So I feel, based on the conversation that was had earlier, plus from the information that we can see here, I would like to see this further explored, to go through all the safety aspects, because again, we did have the conversation with the students. There are plenty of things that they could bring to us. It doesn't always mean it's going to be a yes, but this would be something that I would need more information on before I could make a decision, or I feel anyone can make a decision on, you know, one based on safety, what's, like you said, the eligibility. So I would like this to be further explored.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ladies feel the same.
I think we definitely should explore it further based on the feedback, and I think once we just hear everything mapped out in terms of logistics and the safety and how kids would be, you know, tracked, and, you know, how do we know where, you know, they're coming in and out, and we said the safe zone and everything, and just the whole map out of the logistics, I think that would be helpful.
Kind of excited to get student input and then see it come to life. Whether or not we end up doing it or not, it's kind of cool that this came from the student voices, and now we're actually exploring it. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and I look forward to seeing the results of the next thought exchange that include the community, because I'd like to hear what they have to say too. Because I'm sure they have some thoughts that the kids, probably the students, did not necessarily bring up. But I'm excited to see the next step in this.
Yeah, and I appreciate getting feedback from different stakeholders. You know, the students are the ones who are advocating for this, and we know that they see, like, I want that break from the school environment, totally get that, but now we have to figure out, how does the community feel about this? How do their parents, their guardians feel about this? So I appreciate that we are looking through all of those. So yeah, just further exploration would be great.
So what we will investigate as an administrative team is that safety and, for lack of a better word, tracking accountability infrastructure, the development of the eligibility criteria, and the impact on district operations and community. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for doing the thought exchange. I think it's great to get student voice. I think it's one of our most important things. I just want to say how impressed I am because they are actually in the daily operation every day. So they have a different perspective than we do. You know, or even some of the administrators, but definitely their parents. But I think it's also key that no matter where we go with this, so many of them mentioned the lunch choice options, that no matter where we go with this, I'm hoping that we can continue to look into that for them. Because I think that's part of the desire, and I just don't want to forget that piece of it.
Thank you, agree.
If I could just add one more comment, as I did mention, this was the most participated in engagement that we had, or this exchange saw the most participation we have had in all of our exchanges. If there is a student who is watching this at home right now, or a parent member or a community member, and they did not have the opportunity to participate in this exchange, it was open for about, I believe, 3 weeks. If there's anybody who feels that they did not have that opportunity, if they missed the communication, there is a lot of information that we provide, so it's easily missed. And then my last board meeting, it was at the end of the exchange when I announced that we would be closing the exchange. But if there's anybody who feels that they have missed the opportunity to have their voice heard, please have them email me, the student that is, directly, and we will make sure that it's included in that.
Thank you, and I think that was something that also came up in our conversation with the student candidates earlier, is understanding that they don't need to be seated at the table to be part of the conversations. There is a chain of command, and we were talking about finding out who is the person in charge of that. So whether it be something like food, then we know we can start working on, okay, that's where your question is. Doesn't have to come to the board, it doesn't have to go necessarily to you. We can find those avenues, and it doesn't mean if you're not seated at the table, you can't have a voice in this process. So I think it was exciting for us to meet with them and hear from them, and yes, student voice is always welcome. Okay, and that brings us to the adjournment. May I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody.